What's going on, dudes? Jason here with some kill confirmed on Village using the MK46, and I'm going to skip right ahead to the gameplay into the life that I get the M.O.A.B in, which is actually only like about a minute into the game, and I leave the rest of the gameplay in after the M.O.A.B because it was a pretty good gameplay, you know, it wasn't just the M.O.A.B streak. I think my final score was something like 51-5. And another teammate of mine gets like 55, 56 kills or something ridiculous with some Reapers and AC-130s, so the enemy team just had an awful time this game trying to kill any of us. But anyways, this commentary is going to be about things that I dislike about Modern Warfare 3. In my past couple commentaries, I'd say like 2 out of the last 3 or 4, you know, I've really been kind of like dick riding this game and, you know, defending it against people that hate it so bad. And really what I'm trying to do is not say that this is an amazing game. You know, I myself personally have fun with it and I enjoy it, and I would prefer it over a game like Black Ops or World at War. But, you know, most people don't, and that's just, you know, the plain old facts. You know, most people would prefer to play Black Ops, and, you know, I completely concur. You know, Black Ops probably is the most balanced Call of Duty ever. I believe it's more balanced than Call of Duty 4 was. However, I would prefer to play Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty 4 is just, you know, I believe it's forever going to be known as the best Call of Duty because that's kind of like the roots, you know. It's kind of like any movie, you know, the sequels are never better. People always say the first one was the best. And for most Call of Duty players, Call of Duty 4 was the one that everybody started at. So that's kind of why everybody kind of looks upon it as the best. But Black Ops was the most balanced, the most fair. You know, it's just a little too slow paced for me in multiplayer. You know, now zombies is another thing. Like, if I had to pick one Call of Duty to play forever, I'd probably take Black Ops just because it has zombies in it. But, you know, the multiplayer is just so much more fast-paced and exciting. So many, you know, and that's also what causes it to be frustrating in the Modern Warfare series, is the fact that, like, anything can happen to you at any second with the way that the spawns work, you know, the amount of attachments and, like, you know, grenade launchers. Just everything can happen to you in this game at any moment. And that's part of what makes it so amazing for me and so frustrating. So, you know, I can understand why people get so frustrated at this game. But, you know, really my point is that I feel like this game doesn't deserve to be hated as bad as it is. I don't know. That's just me. And a friend of mine have been texting, like, recently, just, you know, going back and forth over which was better, Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. Now, you know, I can honestly see where somebody would say that they think Modern Warfare 2 is better. But I just hate the fact that somebody acts like it's complete fact and that they're, like, that I'm just wrong, dead wrong. You know, it's all a matter of preference. If I like Modern Warfare 3 better and you like Modern Warfare 2 better, you know, nobody's really right. You know, we're both right in our own minds because it's all preference. But I just can't stand it just irks me when somebody acts like something is just complete fact when it's clearly an opinion, you know, idea. But anyways, I'm going to jump right in here and just, you know, start telling you guys some things that really irk me in Modern Warfare 3. These are in no particular order, like I didn't rank them or anything. But I just kind of wrote them down like as I was playing and as things, you know, kind of pissed me off. Death streaks is definitely the top of the list for me. Final stand and Dead Man's Hand. And, you know, some people say if death streaks aren't lethal, then they're okay. But I disagree with that. In Modern Warfare 2, we had Painkiller, which it wasn't lethal, but it got you killed a whole lot because you could literally fire 3/4 of a clip from an assault rifle into somebody with Painkiller and they would stay alive and kill you. Like, it literally took almost your entire clip to kill a guy that had Painkiller on. So that could get frustrating. Revenge in Modern Warfare 3, people say that they don't mind it, but I think that's because people don't run that perk. You know, people run Dead Man's Hand and Final Stand, so you don't really have to worry about Revenge. But if you've ever ran that perk, there's no time limit on it, so they get to see exactly where you are until they either kill you or kill a you know, one of your teammates, or you just continuously kill them over and over. And, you know, to see that's almost like a, you know, it's like a mini version of the Blackbird. Like, they get to have like a little arrow pointing at you the entire time they're alive. So, you know, I don't really like that at all. So I don't really agree with people that say death streaks are okay as long as they're non-lethal. You know, when I first started playing Call of Duty 4, I was bad. I was awful at this game. You know, I had an under 1 kill death ratio. I had to get better with my weapons. I didn't have death streaks in that game to help me get better. But I don't know. I mean, I know somebody's going to be in the comments talking about that, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And, you know, just realize that there are people that would prefer to have death streaks in the game. Let's see. But one thing I will say is if they're gonna keep Dead Man's Hand and Final Stand in this Call of Duty and future Call of Duties, then the person that drops them should get the credit for the kill, not the person that finishes them off. And I don't think there's many people that would disagree with that. And let's see. Akimbo secondaries can get really frustrating, but the thing you have to realize with those is they're really only super good like up close. The Akimbo secondaries, like anything past like 10 or 15 feet, they're just god awful. They're gonna miss unless you have like a single MP9. That's really good long distance. But the Akimbo secondaries is what really pisses people off. But if you're not right up close on a person, they're not as effective as people want to make them out to be. But I still feel like they should be removed from the game. Like back to Call of Duty 4 again. Everybody likes that game. There was no Akimbo secondaries. It was basically pistols. It was like primary on primary. That was it. It was just everybody used their primary gun, and I don't know. I enjoyed it. And then in Modern Warfare 2, you ended up having people with like secondary shotguns that were beast. But that wasn't a big deal. I'll get more into shotguns in a second. Support kill streaks that kill people, I feel like shouldn't be in the game either. Anybody that can go 14 and 15 and call in a stealth bomber and ruin somebody's M.O.A.B streak, that's not fair to me. I don't feel like that should be allowed. The remote sentry is actually very underrated. The remote turret is very, very good. I really started using it a lot when I started playing Drop Zone, because it seems to be a common package that drops during Drop Zone games. And it's really good because it rotates 360 degrees, unlike the sentry gun. So those kind of things just really irk me. I don't mind giving them UAVs and counter UAVs and ballistic vests and advanced UAVs and all these things, but anything that actually gets them kills, I don't think should be in the support package. And here, Dead Man's Hand, wasn't actually the thing that killed me, but I was severely damaged, and one more bullet, took me out on my kill streak. Luckily, I'd already gotten the M.O.A.B. The maps in Modern Warfare 3 are god-awful. Oh my god. That's the main thing holding this game back. I feel like if you swapped the maps from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, opinions about both of those games would change severely. I think maps could really do a lot to change people's opinions of Modern Warfare 3. And, maps like Favela, Terminal, Afghan, Scrapyard. There's just so many maps that you could bring in from Modern Warfare 2 or even Call of Duty 4 to make this game a whole lot better and take out maps like Downturn and Outpost. And just, oh my god, I just wish I could work for Infinity Ward for like a week and just tell them all these things. The sound options that have been in previous Call of Duty games are really Black Ops. You remember in Black Ops where you could change the sound effects, the what was it, music, voice, and there was like a master volume, and you could take out that annoying ass challenge music that plays all the time, and it just pissed people off to like no end in this game that you can't do that. Now I skipped right to the end of this game here. I'm gonna put in an extra striker clip here because I have a few more things that I want to mention, so I'll put that it's actually a pretty decent striker clip. I'm probably going to get into some of these other things, so I won't be able to talk about it, but I think it's only like 2 or 3 minutes, and I get 2 or 3 kills away from a M.O.A.B. But yeah, those sound options, I really wish they were in this game so that we didn't have to listen to that challenge music go off over and over again, in the middle of games and affect your ability to sound whore. In-game scoreboards that are game specific, I really missed that from Black Ops 2. Infinity Ward, I don't think it's that hard to right here on the scoreboard be able to just put how many confirms and denies each player got, and then Demolition and Search and Destroy, how many bomb plants and shit you got. In Domination, you should get how many flag captures and defends you have, and all those kinds of things should be on the scoreboard, the things that really tell the tale of what happened in the game. And then character animations, to me, this isn't really a major thing, but it does kind of piss me off every now and then when I'll see a sniper that his head is turning left and right, but in reality he's looking down the scope and like aiming right at you. And they really can throw you off. You might think that's something little, but really if you see the guy's character doing something weird that makes it look like he's not actually aiming at you or moving or anything, it can really throw you off. But like I said, that's not something major. And then the shotguns in this game, I have to admit, God, this is going to make one guy really happy. The Striker and the USAS are pretty good starting off, from like level 1. But the rest of them really could use another buff. I know that they made them a little better a few months ago. Wow, cell phone. They made them better a few months ago, but I really feel like they could, they could use another buff starting off. It just takes too much grinding out to get to damage and range on some of these shotguns. So, the casual player's never going to level up these guns. They're going to use the KSG and the Spaz and the model. They're going to use these guns and get hit markers all the time, for a couple games, and then they're just going to be like, these guns suck. I'm going back to the Striker and USAS, and they won't ever take the time to actually level them up. But, so that's kind of why I feel like shotguns, and the main difference is, the reason shotguns are so bad in this game is because they were so strong in Modern Warfare 2, and everybody got severely pissed off at the Akimbo models and the Spaz 12. But the thing in that game is they were secondaries. That's what was so frustrating about them. They're primaries in Modern Warfare 3, so you can afford to make them a little bit better. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And it's actually really fun. I got some KSG clips that I'm going to, post here in a couple days, and, I'm going to start leveling up some of the other shotguns, but that's pretty much my list of things that piss me off in Modern Warfare 3. You guys be sure to leave your comments. I'm sure I'll get more comments on this video than, just about any other. But, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me actually probably agree with some of you guys. I know most people get pissed off that I say I like this game, but, feel free to hate on this game. Go ahead. Y'all have a good day. Talk to y'all later. You thought the commentary was over, but it isn't. No, I'm just joking. I realized that the commentary was actually a little bit too long to cover just the Striker gameplay, so I had to put these KSG clips in here to stretch the time, and then it made it a little bit over what the commentary was. So instead of just leaving the clips in here, I just went ahead and put my lovely voice back in here for you guys. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the Striker and the KSG clips, and be sure to leave a comment. Talk to you guys later.